Welcome, guys. I have a very special guest with me who I'm going to introduce really quickly before I bring her in. I'm not sure whether this is going to find you on the podcast or on my YouTube channel. This is under my YouTube playlist of client reviews, and I haven't brought a client on for so long. I feel like it might have been like October or November 2025. So I'm very excited to kick January off with Tash, who I've worked with since March 2025, and we're Jan 2026 now. So Tash came into my private mentorship CEO last March, completed that, and then she's in my graduates only membership now, and I just fucking adore her. I will let her introduce herself properly, but she is a fitness coach online and an SEN mum of two and an absolute baddie, and I adore her. And I'm so looking forward to just like opening up Tash's whole journey because I actually can't believe we've done this. Tash, hi.
Hello, hello.
Do you want to like tell the guys a little bit about who you are, like what you do?
Yes, yes. So I am, as Liz said, online health and fitness coach, specifically for mums. Um, I have been an online coach, exclusively online, for just over 2 years now. Before that, I was a in-person PT and CrossFit coach, and then before that, I worked in mental health for a long time. And as Liz said, I have two children with additional needs who are 9 and 11. I am in the middle of a divorce, and my life is not, you wouldn't call it a calm, easy life.
Mhm.
But I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about how I manage that now as opposed to a year ago.
Yeah, I love this. I've gone back to our messages so many times because you are like such a dream client for me. So every time I'm like looking through like new content and new marketing, I'm like, let me go back through like me and Tasha's original messages. And I remember the first message you sent me, like maybe like one of the first ones. It was just like, how are you doing this as a mum of three? I am drowning. Capital letters. And sometimes I'm like, oh, she's come so far. I'm so proud of her. But you literally are. You're absolutely smashing it. Tash, tell the guys like where, I mean, you had a great business when we met, right? So tell them a little bit about where the business was a year ago-ish, and how you were feeling behind it. Like ultimately, what was the driving force to wanting to come into my world? Because I know it probably felt a little bit different for you. Is that right? Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. So on paper, I would say my business probably looked good. I had a steady like 3 to 5K months, I would say. But the hours that I was working were insane. Um, and all over the place. Just before we started working together, I had one child in specialist education. So my working hours were even shorter because the school days were much shorter. So then I'd be working before she got up in the morning. I'd be working when they went to bed at night. It was just constant. And I was waking up every day, like dreading the day ahead. And then in my business itself just didn't. I loved my clients, obviously, like love working with them, but it wasn't. It just didn't. I knew it could feel different. I knew it could feel different. And I kept thinking, like, is this it? Like, is this really what I want? And I'd had such a strategic business coach before, and I'd go to them and be like, is this it? Like, this doesn't feel good. And they were like, yes, suck it up. That's being a business owner. Like, suck it up. You're gonna feel like this. Like, get over it, basically. And I was like, I don't know if I want to wake up every day feeling like I don't want to open up my phone or like reply to messages or even look at my laptop. Like, how is that? I didn't get into becoming a business owner to create something that I didn't love.
Mm, so agree, 100%. I
Mhm.
feel like everyone has been there as well.
Yeah.
Um, so you kind of felt in that like overwhelmed zone, not feeling it, enjoying
Ab
what you do.
yeah. So like hugely overwhelmed. I mean, I must have used that in my messages to you as well. And I messaged you the other day to say I feel like Christmas and New Year is such a reflective time of year anyway. And so I was really thinking back to this time last year, and my best friend was in hospital. We thought she was going to die. Like we thought that was it. And I was literally like sat at her bedside, like sending DMs. And I was like, fuck, I am not that woman anymore. Like that, I'm sorry, I feel a bit emotional now.
Oh, babe. It's
That
huge.
is such a big like transformation to go from. Yeah, imagine doing that. Like I could now, I'm just like that's inconceivable to me. That I didn't know whether she would live, and I was sat there like being like, "Fuck, got to do these DMs, got to get this post out, got to do this," because I couldn't manage everything else that I was doing in that time. And now I'm just like, "What? Like, what was I doing? Like, who was that woman?"
And it's so hard because like when we have started a business and that's the only like state that we've known to build in, like it's hard to even know how work can be another way, you know?
Yeah,
You. And like before we kind of go into that and like more of your journey, which I think is so cool to like hear from you personally as opposed to just like me telling people about it. What would you say like if we had that Tash with us and she was just like, well, just tell me like one way that that's changed or one like what is the one thing that I'm not realizing? What do you feel like that's been like through your journey?
um, I think if I were to like give one piece of advice to me back then, it would be like if it doesn't feel right, like to question it, to question
Mm.
how you're feeling, because I didn't even stop to like consider that there could be another way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, and I feel like I drew a very hard line between business, home life, in the sense that I wouldn't do anything that needed doing in my like personal or home life during business hours, but then vice versa, I would do all my business stuff in home personal life hours.
Just
So
like,
almost
oh, go on.
no, I was just going to say it was a hard line, but only from one. I don't know how to explain that. Like it was, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've explained that very well.
I totally get it. It's like the personal life is like muddied, there's no boundary. So it's like any work or stress could leak into the personal life, home, kids, your space. But then the same wasn't reciprocated. It
Yeah,
was like the boundary was really high. It was like work or nothing when it comes to work, you know, again. Is that
yeah,
about right?
yeah, yeah. That's
So
it.
many
Yeah,
of us can
much
relate with
more.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that so much. And we've kind of like drawn upon like 3 points before Tash and I jumped on, which was the sort of mum work home life balance, which you've kind of mentioned, and we'll talk about that. This like dramatically significant amount of hours fewer that you're now working. So we've boiled that down to a minimum of 10 hours less a week that you've worked over the last, whatever, 9 months, 10 months, which is freaking amazing. And learning to listen to your body, which is so exciting. And if anyone's like new and has just found this, just to give you like a really simple in a nutshell core like how have we done this, you came in and went straight through the education in CEO, which anyone that comes into private mentorship with me, wherever the right space is for them, they get that same program, they get that same education, which is about 9 steps, basically 9 modules of self-development. And you had done quite a lot of self-development before we worked together, hadn't we? Hadn't you? Sorry.
I'd done, I'd explored it. I don't think I understood it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd explored it, but from a very masculine angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I know it's really tough because I know when business owners are in that space, obviously you just want the money. You just want to feel good, but you want the money. And I think sometimes it's challenging for people in that place, and maybe this isn't fair, but to see like why self-development or how self-development could be different. Do you know what I mean? Or why that would necessarily be the route. But I think it would be really cool for you to sort of just start to break into like how different your mum work-life balance is because of like the patterns and the modules that you've gone through.
yeah, yeah. So I think the very first thing I remember hearing from you was your to-do list needs to encompass like everything that you need to do for that day, whether it's work or home related. And that for me was such a game changer. I like because otherwise I had all of this like hanging over my head. Like, I mean, for any mum anyway, we've got that constant like the mental load is huge. And then when I've got two children that are SEN and the paperwork and the admin that comes with that is insane. And I would be like, well, I can't like reply to that email or fill out this form or do that thing because this is my work hours. But then to be able to like no one had ever, I just didn't understand that actually how much better my brain would function if I attended to whatever my like urgency or priority for that day was, regardless of whether it was directly related to my business or not. Because once you've tackled something in your like home life that needed doing, it's like that weight's lifted and you're able to function more effectively in whatever like work you're getting your head down to do.
Yeah, and it's like really encouraging women that like this is your life. Like this is our life, and there's like
Mm.
so much invisible conditioning that's been put on us. And just because we happen to be very ambitious and we're only here to like build something incredible doesn't mean that we can like that we have to neglect that part of us. And actually, every time we do, it's just stressful, isn't it? Like it's just reinforcing that message over and over again that like it's almost like that pretense that like that isn't our life, whereas like actually functioning as a woman is extremely important, like behind your business, because like your kids are very important. They're a very important priority, you know, and so is you and your load. And I think that's like the beauty of being led by someone who is a mum. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like has built both. And I think also there's that like really interesting thing where it's like a spider diagram of I think it's like 8 different sections. And we have sort of roughly 7, 8 different compartments in our life, you know, like us as a mum, us as a business owner, us as someone that would be in our relationship, us as a friend, like all of these different parts. And internally, energetically, if one or more of those is like massively out of balance, we feel shit. So if it's like, okay, cool, well, I'm getting everything done in the business, but other areas of my life are falling apart, like my health or my body or my rest and rejuvenation, the business owner behind the business can never flourish. So I think that's been like really cool to see you like really owning that, you know, and actually, you know, I think a lot of the time we think we've got a time management problem, but that's really not the case. You know, time management needs to be addressed in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Um, so talk to us about your time. Talk to us about your time
Okay.
result because I'm
My
obsessed with
time. Yes. So I think, I mean, it is kind of difficult to say because we don't really track our hours, do we? But I would say, like, I can confidently say I'm working at least 10 hours less a week, at least, because I'm not, I've definitely got rid of like that hour in the morning before like they get up and that hour in the evening before they go to bed.
it.
Um, and it's just, and I haven't lost anything because of that. Whereas you always like were always taught like your time equals the harder you work, the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get
Mhm.
back from it financially, and it's just not true.
It's not true.
So that was like yeah, I guess like mind blowing for me. I was like, what? Yeah.
I love this because it's January the 26th, and what are you at for the month?
I am at 8K contracted for the month.
Fucking unreal. And how do
Yeah.
you feel?
Good, good. Yeah. And I think we've spoken about this before, where I obviously feel great about achieving that. Um, but I don't have those same like huge highs and like bottomless pits anymore. So yes, it feels good, but I'm not like euphoric. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
just balanced. I think
Yeah.
I remember that actually in your form when you first came in, you were like, I'm up and down like a yo-yo, which is really normal. And it's like you just want to feel that neutral. Like when we feel neutral, we feel empowered, don't we? Because we're just like, I'm good. I'm not on this roller coaster. The business in general is always going to be a level of a roller coaster, but like I'm not going to be on it. I don't want to be on it. You can do your thing, business, but like I'm out. I'm just
Mm.
going to feel good. Amazing. So earning more, working at least 10 hours less, which is absolutely amazing. And then really talk us through like what do you mean by like feeling good about listening to your body? Like what has that journey been like for you? Because I know I mean it's been amazing for me to watch, but
Um, I just didn't ever ever listen to it before. I would just like it was like I was just on override. Like I didn't I'd get like feelings and I'd be like, yeah, whatever, this needs to get done, or this is what I've been told to do, or that's what I need to do. Or I guess like taking other people's feelings before my own as well. And learning to listen to my body um in respect of everything, like home life is the reason that I'm in the middle of a divorce. Um, work wise, it's changed how I run my business because I think a lot of health and fitness coaches are taught very similar ways to run their business. And it has to be like this. You have to check in with them every week. They have to fill out a form, blah, blah, blah. I realized through the process of like listening to my body that there were certain aspects of my business that I was like, this doesn't feel good to me. Why doesn't it feel good? And then I like uncovered like actually for me, weekly check-ins just weren't working. And also for my clients, I realized they weren't working because it was almost like this form filling exercise. So now how like we communicate is very different, and my clients' results are better as a result of that. So it's yeah, listening to my body has enabled me to confidently make changes in my business that have worked for me and for my client.
I love that because I know that was like one of your number one priorities, wasn't it? Like same for everyone. Because strategically we've done some simple things. We've moved you from like just one-to-one work, and now you have a scalable group program, don't you? And I
Yeah,
know one of your biggest hesitations was like, is this going to compromise my client's results? And you couldn't see how, which is really normal, especially in your industry. So I've been obsessed, like watching. Like I feel like every week or so, at least every other week, we've had something from you where you're like, "Oh my God, the client's results are like on another level," which must be
yeah.
amazing for you to see that evidence piece as well. Like you're earning more, you're working less, the clients are doing better.
Yeah, yeah. I just like I was like Monday is just my favorite day because I open up Slack, which is what I use for messaging, and I just go through like DMs and the group message and just all of this like positive feedback from my clients to open up and read it every Monday is amazing. Um, and I just love my business, like I love it. And the like client results are yeah insane, and just being able to get I have like a testimonial that I can use nearly every day or progress pictures like something comes in um because the girls are just smashing it.
Love this. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about some other cool stuff that I've noticed, of which I could talk about forever. Let's talk about content.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you were obviously amazing with your content before. I do remember you were like, I feel like my marketing is the thing that needs addressing. I remember when I said to you, I feel like it was when we'd worked together for a little while, and I was like, what did you think your issues were? Like, obviously, the issues that my clients come in with and think they have are usually a little bit different. Same with anyone's clients. Like, your clients will come to you thinking this is their problem, and you're like, what's really underneath it. But I remember you saying that one of the top ones was your marketing, which isn't necessarily like basically what someone is usually saying when they say that is I don't feel good behind my marketing. So how did you feel behind your marketing now versus your marketing before versus your marketing now, which is insane, can we just add?
thank you. So I had I was in a place with my previous coaching mentorship, and we'd got to a point where my sales were really low. I wasn't getting many like calls booked, or like there just wasn't much going on. And their advice to me was to keep changing how I like who I was or what I wanted to do. And they were like, right, they were American for context, and they were like, oh, actually all the money's in America, so we think you should appeal to the American audience. So do more like, oh, like this is me as in like British or English woman. And I was just like, no. It was at that point I was like, this is not working for me. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm someone else, because that is what you think will make me more money. And I'd done with them, I'd done like figuring out my ideal client, etc. But then when I started work with you, and we literally like you just fucking bullied me. More Tash, more. Like the niche, the level of niching down on it, made such a difference. And then by like really knowing that and owning that, it's given me the confidence to just put whatever the fuck I want out there, basically. Yeah.
And how do you feel now when you make it, like compared to before?
Oh, I like love making it. I'm not then questioning like I'm not thinking, oh, is this what my ideal client wants to see? Like, is this reaching the group that I want to reach? It's not, I'm not coming from like I'm not viewing it externally. Like, of course, whatever I'm creating, I'll run through like my kind of ideal client avatar, invested client. But I'm creating it like from in here rather than from out there. Does that make sense? I'm sure there's a more
Yeah.
eloquent way I could
No,
put
I get
that.
it. Like it's
Yeah.
coming from you as opposed to like, what do I need to do on a spreadsheet to make this land? And like the difference behind your magnetism is mental. What's the difference between like your performance now with your content, do you find? Even if it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's increased loads, and it the engagement from it is much higher, like messaging coming in. And I just like I did that reel on Saturday, the one about I'm not teaching my I can't remember what the wording was now. You know
I
the
loved
one.
it. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Saw it.
And that one's just hit like 50,000
Amazing.
views, and like I
Wow.
think like over 1,000 likes, and not like that's going to be like mums that are looking at that as well. So it's not like
Yeah.
a rogue, like random man one. Do you know what I mean?
And like this is such a beautiful example that you've raised is it's like every action that we take in our business has two sides and you're like proving that. So making a reel, a piece of content has us behind it and also it has the strategic side. Like you've got to make the thing, you've got to say something in it, you've got to post it, you've got to put music to it. And so I feel like what you were saying is like making it from the outside is just focusing on that side of the making, which is cool. But what's really done this for you, like you say, is like because your pathway through CEO has made you really own your shit, you know, you're really in your power. You're not afraid of what people think anymore. Because I know that was a bit of a thing before, wasn't it? And you were like in that, oh, you know, what's so and so gonna think? And is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Um, because you are like fully in your expression, you're just owning it. Your genius is unlocked. Then your creativity comes out. You're not creating from like a what would ChatGPT tell me to do, or like what
Yeah.
does a hook bank tell me? So then what you execute is so magnetic, which I think is really empowering for us, isn't it? Because it's like that self-trust starts to really boom where you're like, oh, I can actually do this. And like stuff that I'm saying really hits. And then what have you noticed in the difference between the clients that come in or even like your conversion from that?
Oh, so the clients that come in now are like women that are ready,
Mm,
women that are ready to make a change. They, I think before I was bringing in women that needed a lot of hand holding, and it was even like a battle to get them in the first place. When actually that's not the type of client I want to work with. Like I do work with women that are not like complete beginners. Like they do have a fitness experience or come from a fitness background, and are like ready to level up and are in a place where they're ready to invest in themselves because they've already reached that point where they know that they're like worth it. I mean, there's still always a bit of work to do around that, but that's they're coming in a different place than they were coming into me a year ago. Yeah, which just has made the whole process a lot easier.
100%. Because I feel like if we were talking to old Tash and she was like, okay, I don't get it because I've always been told the more hours I put in, the more effort I put in, the more result I get. This is one of those amazing examples, isn't it? Is it's not about how much we're doing. We are never going to have a work ethic problem, right? But it's not about how much you're doing, it's the potency. It's like how good are the actions that we're
Yeah.
putting in. And if
Yeah.
someone's content is so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like because one of the things that was so time consuming for me was I had like my previous coaching had explicitly said you need to DM 50 people a day or whatever it was, 20 or 50 people a day, somewhere in the middle of that. And so I would be like going through, first of all, like either responding to people or digging people out or sending messages. I didn't cold DM, but I would DM people that were already following me, and it would be sending them one message, no reply, two message, no reply, three message, no. Okay, like I hate getting those messages, so why was I sending those messages? Just to hit a quota that someone else had set, that was like to my business, that was an arbitrary number that didn't make any difference. And by cutting all of that out, that has not affected or impacted the growth of my business at all. But it's stripped away that's stripped away 5 hours right there.
And like full ass misery as well, which we're not
Yeah.
looking for. I
Yeah.
love that. I actually had to block someone else this morning because they sent me like like 9 DMs, and I was like, oh.
Mm.
Okay, no time wasting, which we're obsessed with. And then the last thing that I just want to talk about before we talk about like some real nuggets for anyone listening of like, okay, exactly what have we put into your business and like how can we start to make these changes is let's talk about like your thoughts and beliefs. A lot of people, I don't know if this is fair to say, but I feel like sometimes a lot of people get a bit eye rolly at like addressing our thoughts and beliefs. But you've done some cool stuff with the thoughts that you have every day and your beliefs, and that has really, really been the absolute basis of every single change that you've explained here so far, and everything that we can then see on the surface: higher conversion rate, more money, working less time, the actions behind the business being powerful, your enjoyment, balancing your life as a mom and a business owner. So, like, just to completely put you on the spot unprepared, tell us about your journey with that a little bit. Like, what's the difference? Like, what's it been like on your side, like learning really not just what to do as well? Because I think sometimes people are told to have different thoughts and beliefs, and they're not actually shown processes in how to do that and hit the ground running with it as someone whose area it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you mean like confidence in like first of all discovering what my beliefs were and then having like yeah, yeah.
Just if you were like telling your mate, like, so through obviously the beginning sections where it's like all on like everything that you've done there, on your thoughts and beliefs. Just like if your mate went for coffee with you and just was like, tell me how you feel from that and what that experience has been like, or just anything.
Yeah, yeah. Like empowering is definitely like that's the number one thing. And I remember like when I first started with you and we did the and everyone would do that works with you that I feel I need. And actually like taking the time each day to think like what do I like, how do I feel, what do I need? And I remember just talking to my friend about all of these things that were coming up that I was like I didn't realize that, I didn't know that I felt like that. And then once you recognize those like feelings and then take action on them, it's really empowering. Like you just feel aligned, I suppose. Aligned is the best way I can put it.
100%. And then like what's the difference in like your headspace? Because I know for me when I went through like the whole pattern that I teach, obviously the reason I teach it is because I've been like the worst before of all time. You know, that's why we do what we do a lot of the time. But what's that difference in your headspace being like from learning how to emotionally process and not have, intrusive thoughts and overthinking and spirals and those doubts that you probably were carrying with yourself every day. Like a lot of the time, people don't realize that that's actually what is taking up a lot of their time and a lot of
Mm.
misery, and then dictating the things that they do or don't do and the enjoyment of their life, and like not being able to lock into this exciting vision. So what's the difference there, and how's that felt for you?
Yeah, I think stopping second guessing everything. So I don't really second guess it. Um, I'll just like go with it. Taking it's made me more comfortable taking messy action. And I think a lot of the women that you work with, and a lot of the women that I work with as well, are perfectionists. And for us, that's really difficult to take that messy action. But like, once you understand your feelings and emotions and what you want, then you start giving less fucks, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So that's been huge.
I love that. And so many people are taught to like not give a fuck. Isn't there that book that's going around? I've not even read it. But they're told to not give a fuck by like such surface level reasons. Like, oh, well, just don't care. Or like, oh, those people don't pay your bills. Like that doesn't stop someone initially caring. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
whereas when someone's actually taught how to think differently on a daily basis, not be controlled by like any thought that pops into your head and have like a clear headspace and that like real self-belief, you actually just don't care. And then you don't have to go through that exhausting process of like, oh well, I shouldn't care what people think. Like that is not giving a fuck, for the record.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've also like from that you learn that it doesn't matter. Like if you do something and it isn't your greatest piece of work, or you lead a call and it wasn't the best call, you like it doesn't matter. Like you've done a call, for example, and you didn't say everything that you wanted to say, or you missed something, then fine, you've learned for the next time you do it. Um, and yeah, so that's been huge as well. And I think as well, going back to content, I'm sure so many other women will like resonate with this, especially if they've not been sort of doing a lot of content frequently, is worrying about what like your sister's going to think or your best mate's going to think. And actually, when you're confident in your own like feelings and it feels aligned for you, it doesn't really matter what they think because they're not your client. Or what you don't know, and I've had this with three of the clients that I've taken on in the last month, that in fact that I have known for a while, and I did not expect them to turn around and ask to work with me. And in fact, if I had thought about what they would think of my content, I wouldn't have produced half the content that I have. But because I wasn't thinking about that and I was producing it from like in alignment with what I wanted, they turned around and now they're clients.
I love this.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I love this so much. Again, so like all of those actions are just getting sharper and sharper, and you feel so
yeah.
good, which we love. Okay, amazing. So you've gone through like the self-development part. We have obviously hit the ground running with the strategic things from the beginning. So for anyone that doesn't understand how I work, my guys get access to my program, which they replace their podcast with. It's self-led, it's audio only, you can listen to it in the car, whatever. You've taken yourself through that, which has just done this. Basically, everything we're talking about, this is what is done. And then you've just rinsed and repeated that, right? And then we've sort of hit the ground running in the group calls and one-to-one with the strategy of the business, which has been amazing. So, like Tash said, that's where I have trolled her content. That is where I've got you razor sharp on your invested client. And we've really taken those things up a real notch. Actually, we've moved you away from sales calls. Not that I have anything against sales calls. I think sales calls are a great asset to have, but you were fucking hating yours, weren't you? You like that was not your vibe.
Mm.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no, but now I will more happily go into them
Yeah.
because you've taught me a different way. But yeah,
Which is amazing. But I think that was a really cool thing to watch you was having something that wasn't one to one. You were selling things at four figures now, which is amazing. That's a huge leap to have held yourself through. And to also be selling packages like that at the gym. I remember one of your first clients that you got, and you messaged me, and I swear you were like, I'm in the gym car park. I swear it was a message like that, and you were like, I've just closed. Do you remember this?
oh, I can't. No, I can't.
I feel like I remember one of yours anyway. And I remember like the first few that you got into your program and you were like, oh my God. And I remember that you'd done it. Oh, maybe you were like, I'm at David Lloyd and I've just like,
Yes, yes, I think
that
I
was it.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just the best feeling when you show yourself like, oh my God, this gets to be easier. This is insane, you know? And then the women are so great that are coming in. So that's been really cool to see you through. But the other thing that we've done, which I think is really important that we talk about, because like it's all good and well us working on ourselves, and that is really important, but it has to be paired with tighter strategy. And it kind of blows my mind when people come to me from what I mean, we need like a better term, but what I would call like more strategic, or they're kind of strategic only mentors, aren't they?
Mm,
Whatever.
yeah, and I would say like it's very black and white. Like
Sure.
it's you're taught a way and it's that way, or you won't grow. Like your business will fail if unless you do it the way that they are saying.
Yeah, we don't do that in this world, do we? We figure
No.
out what's right for you, and then what I tend to do is I teach the guys the principles of what these business assets are built from, and then how can we do that. So, you know, example, you were taught to do tons of DMs, okay? Like you can do DMs if you want to do DMs, but what we're trying to do there is build leads, new leads. So we need a strategy in place for lead generation, but that needs to feel good to the client. That needs to feel good for you. That's when your business is in alignment. That's when you're building a business that feels good. And then that's when you're empowered behind your business because you're not doing shit in it that you absolutely hate, which is really, really important. But what kind of intrigues me is I do, obviously, as you know, I get people coming all the time from containers like that, which have been good. They've learned a lot in that space and it's been part of their journey. But they're ready for their business to feel great, do better, and feel like them. And I am always still quite surprised how much of a strategy they're actually lacking. So, as much as we've worked on you, we have a very solid strategy for you that we're playing with at the moment. We've got a 2 monthly strategy at the moment, haven't we? So, how do you feel like having a plan where you know exactly what you're doing of a month, yet able to be in flow?
Yeah, yeah, it feels good. And I've got like I have like next to me here, I've got like the next quarter like printed out on and stuck up on the wall. And I know like when I'm doing like a masterclass or when I'm starting my podcast, it's all up there. So I'm not holding that in my head,
Mm.
which is one thing. But at the same time, I like it's there, I can see it, but it's not like I must do XXX every day at this time, blah blah blah, and I can work like with my own flow and my own energy, and yeah, it just works. It just works.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Like guesswork is the most dysregulating thing of all time. And it like there is actually a lot going on in business where people have a goal, you know, they might want to like move towards the 10, 20K month mark, which I know is where we're starting to move with you, but they don't know how to get there. It's like, what is the actual plan? And when you're lacking that actual plan, it's like that's dysregulating because it's like getting in the car and driving somewhere but not actually knowing how. And I think that is a really important part to say because I think marrying the two, like I always call it like the woo and the do, like is so important and empowering for you because there is absolutely a time and a place for your business to have a lot of strategy in it. And that's really, really important as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think like what you've really helped me with is almost like the strategic stuff is not, it's not you saying, right, you must do this, this, and this because this is what I do. It's you saying, well, what is going to work, what feels good, and then I develop like my own strategy from that because I've always been given like the spreadsheets. Now I make my own spreadsheet. But if someone doesn't like spreadsheets, they don't have to make a spreadsheet. Do you know what I mean? Like it's having that ownership, like you've given me those skills to create my own strategy so that I don't need to rely on someone else's.
I love that. It's so important because like there's a lot of basic principles in business and it's important for clients to understand those principles and it's my job to be an expert on them and I can guide you guys like we do when we're auditing your content or we're tweaking your messaging is that's my job is to be an expert in those zones. But actually what is important to me is making sure that you guys actually aren't codependent. You can use and abuse me and rinse me for all I'm worth, which is the joy of my job and what I'm here for, but also knowing that if I vanish tomorrow, you'd know exactly how to keep progressing your business because the fact that you know that you're not guessing your way, I mean, how does it feel to know that you're not guessing your way to your goals?
Yeah, yeah, to just know like it having it clear and in a way that works for me even down to like, I guess like the more nitty gritty like strategy bits within a business, like creating my content, for example. I feel like everyone has a very different way of doing that and what works for them. But you almost giving me the permission to do that in a way that works for me has again, like that's another thing that's really saved me time because I'd always been told like I can't remember exactly what my previous advice was, but it was something like you must sit down on a Monday and do this, and it mustn't take you any longer than this, and you must have all of this planned out. And what happens if you wake up on a Monday and you're due on and you're or like this morning, like last night, my daughter had the mother of all meltdowns, woke up, it continued, didn't get her into school till like quarter to 10. I'm knackered today. Like I couldn't have done that. And then you end up feeling like, well, I failed. This isn't going to work. Like business isn't for me. I can't do this. I've got these kids. Like this isn't going to happen. But you've given me the skills to be like, actually, no, it's fine. Like my energy's not great today. So I'll do that tomorrow, or I've got this backup because actually I did some stuff when my energy was high last week. So there's always a reserve bit of content anyway. So that kind of thing, yeah, it's been huge.
We love this. Oh my God, amazing. Babe, thank you so much. Thank you for spending time with us. We're so
Not at
grateful.
all.
You're the
Not at all.
best.
You.
I will leave it here unless there's anything else that you want to add, anything else that you want to say.
Um, I would just say that if you are in health and fitness, and if anything I have said in terms of having a very like strategic coaching previously, then and you're not loving your business, then hit Liz up.
Thanks, babe. Appreciate this. I do appreciate it so much. Thank you. Yes. Save yourself. It doesn't need to feel shit. That's the
No,
message. I feel
no.
you're
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much. And if anyone is interested in Tash's work, she's the most amazing fitness coach ever for mums. So I will tag you underneath because I think it's always nice to be able to see you. I love your vibe. Like I've got so close with you over the last year and you're stuck with me
Yeah.
like, one way or another anyway. So it's
Yeah.
nice for the guys to come and meet you as well. Thank you
Yes.
so much, babe. So grateful.
Thanks, Liz.
Bye.